so today I'm here to share a little bit about sleep. Sleep is something that I feel so many people struggle with, and there are some very simple things that you can do to enable your sleep to be at its optimal. I truly believe that even if we're drinking clean water, even if we're moving our bodies lots, even if we're eating really high quality foods, if we're not getting good quality sleep, we are going to be feeling run down. We're going to be feeling exhausted. When we are sleeping, that is the only time that the body heals. So we need to make sure that we are giving our bodies the best opportunity to heal. So, where do I even begin with sleep? So, when you sleep is very important. So, let's say you have 8 hours of sleep. Amazing. But you sleep from 2 a.m. until 10 a.m. That is not giving your body the best opportunity to heal and recover. Between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is when the deepest recovery happens in your body. So it does matter what time you're going to sleep. Not how many hours you're having, but the time you're actually sleeping. Going to bed at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. is going to have so many extra health benefits compared to you going to sleep at 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So that's something that I always speak with my clients about when they are like, I can't sleep, I'm feeling tired all the time, but I'm getting 8 hours of sleep a night. It's always finding out what time are you going to sleep, because it does make a big difference. So that's something that I would really consider in your life. If you are feeling tired, if you are feeling like you're not getting great sleep, no matter how long you're sleeping for, what time are you going to sleep? So the way that our bodies work is we have a circadian rhythm. And the circadian rhythm is almost like an internal clock. So it will tell our bodies when to eat, when to rest, when to heal, when to wake. And unfortunately, with today's way of living, we spend lots of time on screens, on devices, less time outdoors. And that is really messing with our circadian rhythms. Things like our phones have blue light in them. So especially once the sun goes down, if we are spending a lot of time staring at our phones, staring at TVs or our computer, that is going to be sending signals to our body of it's time to wake up, not it's time to rest, it's time to sleep. So everything we do from when we wake in the morning has an impact on our sleep. So the first thing I always say is, what do you do when you first wake up? Do you go straight for your phone? Do you go straight and spike that cortisol with emails and social media and this and this happening? Or do you just take a moment? Do you go outside and get some sunlight? I know in some countries it's not easy to get the sunlight, but even just the daylight, that is telling your body it's time to wake. Every day when I wake up, the first thing I do, because I have Shadow, is take him outside, and no matter what the weather, I ground barefoot and I get daylight in my eyes. Ideally, that will be sun. Morning sun, as it's rising, sun gazing is so powerful. Not only does it support the circadian rhythm, not only does it help to heal the eyes, it also boosts your mood and your energy. There are so many benefits to sun gazing. It's not something you should jump straight in with. It's definitely something you ease your eyes. You have to train yourself. And even if you just start with 10 seconds and then build yourself up and up. I got to the point where I was able to just sun gaze, when we were doing it daily, I could do a solid like 20 minutes without moving, without blinking, like closing my eyes and needing to look away. Obviously I was blinking, but without needing to actually turn my eyes. Now, with sun gazing, it's really important. You don't go and do it now when the sun's up high. You want to either do it first thing in the morning as it's rising, or last thing at night just as it's setting. So sun gazing is something that can be really helpful. And then grounding is something that is so powerful. Not only does it regulate the nervous system, it also allows you to, of course, connect with Mother Nature, but it also helps with any of the negative ions in the body and just really harmonizing any dissonance that might be going on inside. So when you've been lying down all night, when you have been indoors in the dark, getting outside and having that connection with the daylight plus the grounding is also really, really helpful for the body. So some other things that I speak about when it comes to sleep is, how is your bedroom set up? So your bedroom should really only be used for sleep and making love. That is it. No working, no challenging conversations, no bright lights. You really want to set the environment. Your environment is everything. Charlie and I speak about this so much, especially with traveling and being on the road. We are so good at creating an amazing internal environment. There's certain tools that we carry around, but we've just always been really good when it comes to setting the space. We used to live in an apartment, and it was just brand new, ground floor, 2-bedroom apartment, very white, and anyone that came in was like, wow, what you've done to this space. And we didn't do that much. It was more, we just had a few like secret little simple things that we'd set up, the lighting, the smells, the sounds, and it would make such a difference to the energy. So with the bedroom, you want to keep electronics out. You don't want electronics in the bedroom, especially if they're connected to the Wi-Fi. So the Wi-Fi we can't see. The Wi-Fi is all around us. We can't see it. It is doing damage. It genuinely is. And it is important for us to not have that Wi-Fi in the bedroom. So for me, I love to sleep with some sound. I don't like silence at night. I'm a very light sleeper, and I do wake up a lot, if shadow makes a noise or there's a noise outside. And of course, sometimes that's a good thing. You want to know what's going on. But just for having a bit of like meditation music on in the background really helps me to sleep. So we have a spare iPad that we don't really use. We haven't got the Wi-Fi on it. I've downloaded the music onto it, and I keep it the other side of the room, and it just plays the music. But any other electronics we don't have in the bedroom. If our phones are in the bedroom, which is very rare, but they will be on flight mode, people will not be able to contact us, and we keep them away from us. But as a rule of thumb, we keep our phones out of the bedroom. Your bedding and your pajamas or your nightwear, if you can sleep naked, amazing. But what is the material that you're sleeping on? So much bedding nowadays is polyester, and you do not want to be sleeping on polyester. You want to have things like linen. That is a great material to be sleeping in. You can get a very high quality organic cotton. There are materials, I spoke about this in my video the other day, but our skin is our largest organ. So if we're sleeping on something, if we're spending all this time every single day in our beds, we want to make sure that it is the best material and it is supporting our health in the best way. So have a little look. What material is your duvet? What material is your pillows? And then obviously the covers on top, even the mattresses, and then even the bed. You do not want a metal bed frame. If you have a metal bed frame, that is conducting the electricity, which will be coming through to you. You want to stick to something like wood or fabric. That's something that, is going to really disrupt your sleep as well. And then just checking for things like smart meters. Are they on the other side of your wall where you're sleeping? You know, smart meters emit so much electricity, and I'm not going to dive into that because right now I'm trying to stick with sleep. But if you do have a smart meter on the other side of the wall, you can get things to protect you from that. If it can't be moved, you can put like tin foil on the inside of the wall. That will help protect you. Just having a little look around in your home and seeing where these points of like electricity are, because if your bed's right up against it, that will be affecting your sleep. So there's some things that are really important within the bedroom. Trying to stick to a regular routine is also something that's going to really help and allow your body to get into that state of knowing when it's time to shut off. If one day you're going to bed at 8 p.m. and then the next day you're going to bed at midnight and then the next day is at 11 p.m, the next day it's at 1 a.m, your body's not going to know whether it's coming or going. And I know that from doing night shifts. My body was all over the place. I could see it in my skin, in my energy, just in everything about my body. It was no good for me. It didn't matter if I was catching up on sleep during the day, which I rarely did, but it was the fact that I wasn't getting that sleep at night when my body needed it. So they're in the bedroom. And then outside of the bedroom, so for Charlie and I, we often work with teams based in America. So we do spend time in the evenings on our devices. It's just what it is. And especially at this time of year, we are in Eastern Europe right now, and by about 4:30, the sun's gone down. Really, when the sun goes down, you want to make sure that any artificial lighting is switched off. So whether that is the lights in your home, your main lights, try and swap them out for some salt lamps or for candles. Then with your screens, so you can put, I think it's called night mode on like phones, on laptops. You can even do it on TVs now. If we have the TV on, we turn the brightness right down. You can change the tone of it so it's more red rather than like whitey blue. And then we also have our glasses. So these are our blue light blockers. These are from a company called Eva Ambra, I think you say it. We invested in these at the beginning of this year. I think they're actually based in Ireland, and we got them shipped out to Montenegro, and it was a great investment. I think they were around €100 each. We've had cheaper pairs before, but I definitely notice a difference with these. So I think if you are spending a lot of time on your devices in the evenings when the sun goes down, and you do really want to protect your circadian rhythm and not be spiking your cortisol at later times in the evening and messing with the natural rhythms of the body, definitely invest in some good blue light blockers. So we have an alarm set, and when that alarm goes off, we know it's time to put the blue light blockers on, if we haven't done so already. So that's something that I highly, highly recommend, is get yourself a pair of blue light blockers. They are great, and, you know, especially for us working online, spending a lot of time on our devices, we know that that's such an important part to really enable our circadian rhythm to stay in more flow. And I definitely do feel like it helps. It's not always the easiest if like I'm editing videos or something like that, because it turns everything red. Everything goes dark. But I try to save those sort of tasks for during the day, and when I've got my blue light blockers on, keep that more for just like stuff I can just not need to see the colour too much. So that's also something that's super important. And then just being mindful, going back again to environment and your space, not only in the bedroom, but in the rest of the house as well. What's the energy? Is your body able to truly relax? What are the sounds? What are the smells? What lighting's going on? What energy from other people? What are you listening to on the TV? These are all things that are going to really affect your body and its ability to be able to truly sink in and get into that state so you can get into a deep sleep, deep relaxation. So, environment, very, very important. So there's some of my top things that I would recommend. Another thing that's so important throughout your day is the sunlight. Who doesn't love sunlight? And yes, I know in some countries it is not easy to get regular sunlight. But when the sun hits your skin, it creates vitamin D and melatonin. Melatonin is what helps you sleep. You see a lot of people supplementing with melatonin. You do not want to be doing that. If you are supplementing your body with melatonin, your body will not think about producing its own. So it almost switches off. So you then become reliant on melatonin forever. You are much better before going to melatonin to do some of these simple things that I've spoken about to help boost your melatonin. Get as much sun on as much of your skin as you can throughout the day. Having cherries. Cherries are a great source of melatonin. They're a great little snack. These things will just really support the body in doing what it can do. You know, we've come away from so many root sources and we just have to support the body a little bit. It knows what it needs to do. It's capable to do what it needs to do. We just have to support it. So another thing would be being mindful of when you're eating. If you are eating right before you go to bed, you are not going to be healing or even properly sleeping. Your digestive system is going to be working to process all of that food, so you will not get the rest that you could be getting. You want to stop eating a good at least 2 to 3 hours before you sleep, and I even say drinking as well. You want to try and keep everything to earlier in the day. If you drink a load of water before you go to bed, you're going to be waking up needing to go for a wee. Very obvious. So always keeping your water to earlier in the day. I have a sort of goal which I learned through the school that I've trained with, and that is 2 quarts by 2 p.m, which is around 1.8 litres. And then after 2 p.m, I personally try to get another litre in. And by around 6-7 p.m, I'm then done with fluids. We do have an alarm set for 8 p.m, and that is no more food. Nothing at all. Everything before 8 p.m. At the moment, we're in a routine of eating at around 5-6 o'clock. So usually that's when I stop eating, but we do have that little window. So if we do feel we need another drink, maybe, you can have a nice warm tea, a nice chamomile tea, something that's going to really relax you, not with caffeine. Some people respond really badly to caffeine. It really wakes them up. Other people don't really notice much different. But if you are having coffee, keep it to the morning, early part of the day. Once you've hydrated your body with the water that it needs, depending on the time you wake up, then being able to have your coffee sort of after that. Not at 4-5 o'clock in the afternoon, evening, because that caffeine will be running through your body. And whether you're conscious of it or not, it will be affecting your sleep. So trying to eat regularly. So I spoke on my video the other day about the 3 cycles throughout our day that our bodies go through. And that is from 4 a.m. until midday. And that is really the time for our bodies to eliminate. It's a really good time, obviously, for intermittent fasting and also for hydration. And then you have midday to around 8 p.m/sundown. Obviously, it varies because, like I said, this time of year, the sun's going down by like 4 4:30 p.m. Whereas in the summer, it might not go down till like 10 p.m. So really just listening to your body, but around 12 till 8 p.m. is a really good window for eating. So getting in your calories, getting in all your nutrients and really fueling your body throughout that time. And then from 8 p.m. till 4 a.m. is when your body heals. So the major recovery time is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. But from that whole 8-hour window is peak for healing for your body. So the more you can keep your body in a cycle, similar to what I was saying about what time you go to bed, the same as when you're eating, trying to keep that in a routine so your body can get used to it. You will get into a cycle where then you wake up in the morning and you need to open your bowels. That is a good routine to be in. Your body has been healing and detoxing throughout the night, and getting your body in that routine. I always know when I'm really in sync with my body and really looking after it, because I notice the cycles. I'm not irregular. Things aren't all over the place. I know when things are happening. I know how my body is responding, and your body speaks to you. It's communicating all the time. So that's another thing, just really trying to get that routine, and that's something that will really help you. It will really help you to feel well rested. It will really help you to feel in control of your body. And you know, sleep is so important. It is so important that we are giving our bodies the opportunity to rest, because life is go, go, go. It is constant. So when we can pause and shut off from the world, and our body knows that it's safe to do so, we are then going to be able to support it in the best way. And this isn't just for you. This is also for your partners. This is also for your children. If you're able to support your child's circadian rhythm from a young age, and you're able to teach them and educate them that no, we don't watch the TV before we go to bed. No, we're not on phones or computers before we go to bed. It's really going to allow them to have the best opportunity for their life, rather than them getting to an age where I see a lot of people in my generation are, and they're having to reprogram. They're having to relearn everything because we weren't taught it when we were younger. So now we really have the opportunity to teach the younger generation, so they're not dealing with all these problems and disease and health complications. We're able to really support them and let them feel their best. Let them wake up well rested. How amazing is that? To know the information that you can learn, knowledge is power. You can then pass on to your children, onto your family, onto your friends, even to your parents and grandparents. Really taking back that control and knowing that we can have good sleep. Unfortunately, there is just a tornado of the world out there that makes it challenging. But when we really learn this information and we're able to implement it, even things like grounding sheets, they're amazing. They allow you to feel well regulated. Just like I was speaking about going outside and grounding earlier, you can get grounding sheets for your bed, and you can be sleeping on that. There is so many things that you can do for your sleep, and before needing to turn to sleeping tablets or certain pills or whatever that might be, try a few of these little steps. Feel free to reach out to me. I support people daily with this. This is my job. I am a holistic health coach. And not only am I speaking about what I've learned, which is amazing, by the way, the school that I learnt with is incredible, but I'm also trial and error in it myself. I'm implementing these things into my life, me and Charlie, my friends, my family, people that I'm always sharing it with, and seeing what actually works. It's not one size fits all. Some things work for some people and some things work for other people. So feel free to write a comment, write me a message. My socials are in the description. Anything you need support with, anything you want clarity of, anything you've got to share, I'd love to hear it.
I have a mailing list. Would you believe it? And that mailing list is where I provide all exclusive, uncensored information, wisdom, tools, free resources, invitations. Yeah, now all the kind of basic stuff. And I realized what I have to offer often gets me pulled off social media. So the only way I can give you this direct source of wisdom is on the mailing list.
Shut your mouth. Well, have you?